the assignment's asking everyone to draw a piece of furniture with a wall and floor around it. Thanks to Sean, Trevor, Margie, Adam, and Becky for getting this discussion going. Let's first look at vantage point. So Sean is below his dartboard cabinet. He must be sitting in a chair looking upward at it. It seems as though he's got a lamp shining on it from the left, which may be illuminating the underside, which is kind of unusual. Generally, the underside of things mounted on the wall, such as a cabinet, will be dark. Now, let's see, Margie, it seems as though you are outside of the room looking down upon it. I'm remembering Alfred Hitchcock's movie of the birds, and the birds looking down on the burning gas station. It's almost as though you're way up high with a bird's eye view. Now, for this drawing, you should be in a place where you can see the very view that you draw. Also, I want you to concentrate on the furniture idea. Trevor appears to be sitting. It seems like he's sitting on the floor, drawing the bed. The bed looms large. We could call that a worm's eye view. In Adam's, I'm imagining he's standing because he seems to have a rather high vantage point. And Becky might be sitting regarding her rabbit hutch. So let's see. With Sean's, I feel as though the charcoal is looking rather dark and heavy at this point. Now, the assignment specifies that you should use your charcoal pad, which implies that this is a scanner-sized drawing, and that may make you want to reach for your charcoal pencil if you're working in charcoal, seeing as the point is rather fine and it seems suited to the scale of the paper. On the other hand, remember that charcoal pencil is a compressed charcoal and it's not going to erase easily. You probably want to start with vine if you've got a smaller stick of vine, or you could even sandpaper the vine to a kind of point if you like. Sean, in yours, I noticed that there's a rather wide gap between the doors where they close. Also, it seems as though the molding is closer to the hinges on the left side than it is on the right, and that might be something to doctor. Now, I will say that while we don't want mixed media drawings because they get kind of messy, it is no crime to very lightly and very quickly lay out a charcoal drawing with the help of, say, a 2H pencil. Now, let's see, Margie, I had some ideas for you about how to work with perspective, but on the other hand, it seems as though you're not actually looking at a room, or not a room to human scale. This might be the room in a dollhouse, for instance, because of your vantage point. I want you to get to a place where you can actually see what it is you're drawing. And as I was saying before, your eyes will be like a yo-yo. You'll look at the subject and you'll compare it to your drawing. You'll look at the subject and compare it to your drawing. I want you guys to concentrate on sighting also. That means using something straight, such as a pencil, to judge angles. Trevor, just a little suggestion. Things that are far should be a tad smaller than those that are near. And I noticed that the footboard on your bed has a smaller post on the far end, and that is correct. I'm thinking that maybe its bottom, the place where it meets the floor, could go up just a smidge. It might be that you want to bring the headboard corner down a tiny bit on the far side. Notice how the line for your ceiling slopes above the headboard. Does the headboard match that slope? Okay. Now, Adam, one thing that we can really look at in your drawing is how, let's take a look at those two pink lines. They should be largely parallel, and the rear one must not appear to be greater than the one that's in the foreground. So we don't want any suggestion that the rear of the furniture is wider. That is, if it would be square or rectangular from an overhead view. If this is trapezoidal in plan from the overhead or floor plan sort of view, then I could see the geometry that you're showing us here. And this is hard. This is not an easy thing to do. Now, let's take a look at Becky's hutch. She's showing us two different versions of this drawing, and I don't think the second is quite done. Becky, you've got the same issue where the rear of your hutch is appearing to be a little bit wider than it should be. It should probably look more narrow than the front. So I've suggested replacing the left side rear leg a little bit to the right. Also, is this hutch one that has a sloping roof? Because I'm not sure about the cage. I'm wondering why the cage lines don't match the roof line. Now, it might be that the roof is sloping. I don't know this. You know, it would be so lovely to see a rabbit in this hutch, or even a rabbit on the ground near the hutch, if you could put that in. I want to suggest to those of you who are using charcoals, particularly vine charcoal, that you can scoop the vine on its side. Take the vine, lay the stick on the page, and just scoot it up or down to make a skinny, straight line. This is a great way to work and to make your edges seem hard and crisp even when you haven't used any sort of a ruler. And I will suggest to you guys that you could erase against a ruler if you need to get an edge looking more sharp. Margie suggested to Becky that maybe there needs to be a corner of the room. That seems to be something that Margie's focused on particularly. In the student sample, we do see a room corner, and it would be nice to see a wall here, though I think that this hutch is on Becky's back porch and there might not be a wall. More suggestion of surroundings would be suitable. All right, you guys, this looks good. I have added a couple of images, one by Van Gogh and another by Piranesi. These are artists who have worked with perspective and might provide some inspiration to the class.